And right here, Big Baby Davis is about to explain him and Doc Rivers actually having beef, which may be the first time a lot of us is hearing this. Shout out to Cameron from Dipset. Who would have thought he dropped this exclusive?
At first, I did want to move. I said, I'm not going nowhere.
Right.
I'm under my belt. I'm like, I'm not going nowhere. You're not about to kick me off.
Right.
And then when he got the security to like, come on, Glenn, in the middle of a game.
Yeah. So sending you to the end of the bench and sending you back to the
Sending
locker
me
room.
in the locker room during the game.
Okay, I'm sorry.
For coming off the court and saying, hey, Doc, what you brought me here for, man? I want a ball. I want to, come on, man, let me eat.
Right.
He knew that's how I was when I was a rookie. That's, you know.
It's your personality and
yeah,
your
and
drive.
so, yeah, he kicked me off. So I knew, you know, it wasn't the same Doc. You know, I knew I've came to a situation where, you know, Doc, you know, has a different role and has more pressure on him, and now he is trying to save his own, you know?
Basically save his ass.
Save his own ass,
right.
You know what I mean? You know, you think about it, like, you know, the things that he was doing, you know what I mean? I think he was all doing it for himself, like.
Because he wasn't just the coach, he's the GM as well.
Yeah, he was the president at the time.
President, okay.
And you know, when you're the president, you can go sign your son.
And give him millions of dollars that he might not deserve.
Yeah, so he was doing anything he wanted. He liked.
You notice the slight right there? When you're the president, you can go sign your son. Man. Doc Rivers catches a lot of flack for that, but the fact that Big Baby Davis is still bringing this shit up years later is crazy. But again, right here, we're about to see that, yeah, they really got beef.
Like Spencer Hawes because, you know,
yeah,
Doc like white guys. You know, he love them. You know, I know sad he like black guys too, but a white guy that can shoot and.
You saying he cool with black guys, but he love him some white guys.
Yeah, he love him white. Yeah.
A coon.
Yo, you hear Big Baby Davis? Yeah. Come on, Big Baby. That whole team. JJ Redick was the only white guy, man. There was a bunch of brothers on that team. Come on, let's not cap.
Who you calling him?
Low key.
A low key coon.
Low key.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uncle Tom.
Low key.
Tap dance nigga.
Ta-da.
That's what you saying?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Woo, right there. Yo, we had no idea that these guys had smoke like this. This is that 08 Celtics championship team. Doc Rivers got smoke with Big Baby? Man, Garnett and Pierce got to fix that. That is not good at all.
Now, are you blaming him as well for not having the team doctors diagnose you with this broken foot? Because, you know, and I know we've been speaking, but we haven't spoke a lot about it, but you were telling me during the games that they might have shot you up.
Yeah, like, so when I broke my foot, they didn't tell, when I did that, they didn't tell me, hey, your foot's broken, right? And so I figured, hey, you know, it's kind of sore, let me shoot it up then if it's not broken, you know? But it was broken and I was shooting it up and I didn't know it was broken.
Right.
So that alone is gonna, you're trying to play.
It up more.
You're wrapping it up, you're still trying to run on it, you're playing in a hot, you know, you're trying to, like, I played on it, and I had like 7 and 6 and 15 minutes. I still, you know, played good, but after the third shot against Houston, we were up 3-1, and Doc was, hey, man, you're not coming, like, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Armand Hill was kind of like assistant coach. He was the one that was kind of like his little minion, you know. And he comes to me, he's like, you're not in shape. I'm like, man, something's wrong with my ankle. And then they bench me, and I couldn't really move anymore. And then we end up, it was 3-1, and we end up losing the series.
Wow.
So he's upset, you know what I mean? So, you know, he's not focused on me, a free agent, that he's like, I'm not bringing him back no more, you know what I mean? Right. So it's just like he wasn't focused on that. So, am I disappointed a little bit? Yeah, I am, because, you know, I never left him at the altar.
Right.
You know,
gotcha.
Since a rookie, I was there. You know, I was
and when he called you to get ready?
I was the only rookie there. I was a rookie on that team for 3 years because everybody else was getting cut, you know, or not playing anymore. You know, me and Avery Bradley are the only ones that stayed because, you know, we had a light. You know, we had some talent. So I do feel some way. I wish they could have gave me that option, right? Hey, it's broke.
Right.
Don't play on it.
Gotcha.
Get surgery.
Right.
Get ready for next year.
Right.
But it didn't happen like that.
Once again, Big Baby relies too much on the institutions to actually guide his career in a perfect route. He's going to have to take more of an initiative. And that very same mindset is what kind of got him caught up in this scam, as we'll learn later on. And even entering into that offseason, he had ample time to figure out that his ankle was broken, but he waited until September, knowing that he was a free agent. He was looking for a contract. He was supposed to be already in playing shape, already training throughout the whole summer to be ready in September to enter training camp. Again, right here, we're unpacking his mindset. He's a little bit too over-reliant on institutions to guide his career in the right path. You would think with him being in the league around the same time as LeBron, he would take some of his blueprint off that tree and apply it to himself. Just take control of your own career, man.
That's wow. So what? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to.
So all that stuff is happening,
right? Is he suing you because of this?
Yeah, I got sued too. Okay. Yeah, I get sued, and now my second time getting arrested. Now I'm on probation, and trying to figure things out, and at the same time trying to figure out my acting career, and I'm in the music industry with my artists and stuff like that, trying to get, open doors like that. I was just super depressed, man.
Right.
I didn't end my career like I wanted to. And
did you know you were depressed, or
no?
You didn't know?
I had no idea.
Right.
Smoking weed all day and being who I was, everybody is accepting. Like,
right.
It's easy to lock, because you Big Baby, and so I never got a chance to truly heal. It was more like on to the next person in my life, instead of healing, So after I go through all that, as the assault case comes, I'm trying to find space, and then I start the Big Three. And as I start the Big Three, I get more.
And when we talk about the Big Three, just for the audience, Ice Cube's league.
Yeah, Ice Cube's league.
The Big League. So you end up playing in the Big Three.
Yeah. Okay. So I start getting ready.
Okay.
So I started to go to physiotherapy, working out, trying to get right. And at the time I was at Impact Sports.
Okay.
And so that was a pivotal point because I'm finding myself again. Oh, Big Baby, So. But basketball, so it kind of gave me some, a little love, and that's when I run into this big case.
Gotcha.
That's what happens when I get to the Big Three. That's what all this, this crazy stuff with the NBA healthcare starts coming.
It goes to show you Ice Cube's Big Three League does have a space in the basketball ecosystem, because a lot of these guys, man, coming down from that NBA life, just in the first few years off of retirement, they're going to need a nice little medium to kind of make that transition into regular civilian life. Because it's definitely a culture shock for some of these guys to no longer be getting those six-figure checks that a lot of them been getting since the age of 18. Certain family members and fake friends are no longer around. Maybe the missus is looking at you kind of different because you're at home all day and the checks are not coming in. You guys can't live the same lifestyle you once did. And these guys have been doing basketball their whole lives. So they're trying to figure out how to transition because they still have so much more life to live. So it's almost like they have to find another brand new identity. Ice Cube, he might have something here with this Big Three. It is a perfect medium to help players during this transition.
How do we come to Glen Davis is defrauding the NBA's health and welfare plan? How did we get there?
Well, I really feel like,
allegedly,
it first starts off with the injury.
Yeah.
Having an injury and not knowing that you can, get compensated for all the stuff that you just went through.
Right.
That was my intention. When I ran into Alan and Terrence, and I didn't know, I didn't know what truly was going on, and that's why I involved my financial advisor.
Gotcha.
To check, to dot the I, check the I's, the T, whatever, to cross the T's, whatever a financial advisor is supposed to do, to make sure that everything was legit. Me going through my life, and going through all the divorce, all that crazy stuff, I should have checked up on it and looked at it more, you know what I mean, instead of okaying things. And that's what I did, my intentions, was never to defraud. When Terrence Williams started asking me for money, I was like, what the hell? Like,
Who is Terrence Williams?
Terrence Williams is a basketball player who's in this case who got 10 years.
Right.
Terrence Williams, I didn't know.
Once again, Terrence Williams is the ringleader of all this. He told the guys, hey, more than likely he approached Big Baby Davis about this. He showed him the cover letters of like the fake forms. He's like, hey, fill this out, say you got this done, and I'm gonna submit it to the league, and then I'm gonna get a reimbursement and I'll give you a percentage of the kickback.
So when he called me and started asking me for bread, I was like, nah, like, what the hell? Like, how the hell you know what I mean? So that kind of threw me off. And then I stopped communicating with him. After that, after I did all that with him, because my financial advisor okayed it. Like, if I give my financial advisor his number and say, hey, call him, like, check on it, like, make sure everything's good.
Right, that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, but again, we already established the financial advisor was the homie, was the mentor that he had when he was growing up. So it's not like Big Baby Davis actually went out of his way to find like a more veteran agent that kind of knew the ropes.
He signs the paperwork and he says, view it. He said, view it, sign it, send it back. He didn't, my financial advisor testified and said that on the phone, he told me that it was fishy, and he never told me that, right? Why would you tell me to review it, sign it, send it back in email, and sign everything in it with your handwriting?
Right.
Like, why would you do that if you said something was fishy?
Again, Big Baby Davis, an over-reliance on other people to guide his life in the right direction. That's always going to come back to bite him in the ass. And we've seen that from numerous NBA players, guys who are known of making a lot of money, guys like Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan. A lot of their fortunes have been stolen through financial advisors.
That just doesn't, when you do everything for me, my financial work, taxes, divorce, mom needs money, this account needs money, somebody needs money, he's signing, making sure that they get the money.
Right.
So I'm thinking it's okay, so, a part of me was evolve in it because my financial advisor gave me an okay.
Right.
Like, I trust him.
Yeah, they got power of attorney.
Yeah, I trust him. Like, I trust him with everything. So it's just like, that was a crazy situation. And so now when he's asking for money, when the everything went in, he's asking for money. I'm like, what the hell? So me and him really get into it, where I stop answering the phone. I don't even, I don't even communicate with him. But it being the NBA and him and Nate Robinson are good friends because they're from Seattle, Washington, I didn't want to create a beef. Right. I didn't want to create anything. Right. And at the same time, Terrence was struggling. Like, Terrence was asking for money. Like, right. Hey, man, I know I didn't get it done, man, but, can you give me $1,000, man? And
that's crazy. So you take advice from a dude that needed money, that was always a fringe player throughout the league, like a journeyman? Come on, Big Baby Davis. Come on, the story's something not adding up right here.
That's what I gave him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, they made it painted like I was paying him to do this and do that, but like I gave my information to my advisor. Right. So I had felt like I was okay.
Right.
Until he started asking me for money. And then the plan manager vetoed the plan. So basically, when everybody puts their login for the get the money, right, there's somebody watching it.
Right.
That person denied it. So I didn't get no money from Terrence Williams, Allen Anderson, and that whole situation with my financial advisor, me not paying attention, and my financial advisor just signing like everything's okay, when really it's not okay. You know what I mean? So when that situation happened, with Terrence, like I bagged up, and I don't get no money, and then now, I'm at the big three working out, and I'm remembering all that, and my friend has his doctor, a real doctor, a guy that I trust, and I get his phone number and, ask him, hey, what can I do? Do I have to come to you? My mom stays in Atlanta. He told me, no, you can count the days that you were at the big three and all the work you did there and the stuff that you did. And I was like, do you remember what I did? You know what I mean? He was like, yes. And so then he does the invoices and send me the invoices. So I'm like, okay, this is what I did, and okay, this is perfect. Like, I remember this. And so, I file. He tells me, when the money comes, he's gonna...
Real quick.
Yeah.
You see, for other players, Terrence Williams was so sloppy that other guys were playing overseas and he still filed paperwork saying that they had doctor's appointment at the same time in the US, which makes no sense. But for Big Baby Davis, he probably scouted him out, noticing that he's playing in the big three, and it's a perfect opportunity to just say, hey, he needs to be reimbursed because he played in these games and he has certain aches and pains, and this is for the treatment that he received. So he saw it as a perfect opportunity to submit extra paperwork for fraud, just for the Big Baby Davis part. But he did this with 18 other NBA players.
When you're saying what you did and he sends you the invoices, could you be more specific?
So basically, you have to kind of sign paperwork, right? And with the paperwork, at this time, it wasn't like, it was just filling in information, and then you have to show the invoices of all the things that you did.
Okay.
And so...
when you say...
The paperwork he filled out with the NBA was fine, but then when he provided the invoice receipts so he can show how much money he spent to let the NBA know what they need to reimburse, when they looked at those receipts, those invoices, it was just sloppy all around. The header, things were misspelled. Terrence Williams in a way should have just hired like a secretary to help him with this scheme, because he did it completely sloppy, and that's how they got caught.
What do you mean exactly?
So basically, like, if you got stem and ice, if you got this type of surgery, you got to put it on
medical.
there. Medical.
Okay, gotcha.
And so, he sent that over. Okay, and I thought it was okay. Right. You know what I mean? He told me, hey, what account? I had 3 different accounts, and he asked me. He said, can I, what account you want me to send this to? And I was like, hey, send it to any one of my accounts. And I gave him the accounts to send it to. And so, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I didn't think I was defrauding, you know what I mean? Because this guy's at the big three, he's watching, he's seeing us all work, we're all working.
So everything that you're telling me, just so I'm clear, that in your brain, or realistically, you were doing a went through, you thinking that the invoice is being sent for the stuff that you really had went through.
Yeah.
And you're saying that the invoices wasn't matching what you went through?
No, the doctor said that the invoices wasn't matching what I went through.
Right. That's what I'm at.
The doctor said that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm thinking that, hey, because when the evidence came in and the prosecutors tried to make their claim, they made their claim on the different types of lifts that I was in on those days.
Right.
But they didn't realize that those lifts were at the big 3 days that I told the doctor to put in. But the doctor made it seem like, oh, it was supposed to be in Atlanta when he was at the big 3 at those days. So,
yeah, Big Baby Davis, it's your fault, man. You had the paperwork, the proper paperwork, but you relied on Terrence Williams submitting it to the league, when in reality, you should have just got the paperwork from the doctors from the big 3 and then have your financial advisor submit it into the NBA. See, that's where he runs into a wall, because the judge is going to ask, why do you involve Terrence Williams? You have an insurance plan through the NBA. So it should be you, your financial advisor, and the NBA. It shouldn't be you, Terrence Williams, and your financial advisor perhaps maybe overlooking it, quote unquote. You're saying that he looked at it, but that's a little iffy. But you involved a third party. Why is Terrence Williams involved in your insurance plan? It makes no sense.
I'm just here to tell my story.
Right.
And the situation is you know, it sucks. You know what I mean? That the fact that you go through an injury, a real true injury, and that's where you're coming from, and you know, people are misusing the system.
Right.
You know.
So, and I know it's still some more to talk about, but let's summarize where we're at right now. You're breaking your ankle, hurting your ankle, whatever procedure that was in Orlando you said you had.
Yeah, I had a fifth metatarsal, then I had an ankle break for the Clippers.
With the Clippers. The Clippers didn't handle this correctly. Didn't let you know you had your ankle was broke. You go back home, find out your ankle's broke. So therefore, in September, you can't try out for a team because now your ankle's broken. Eventually, you end up playing with in the Big Three Ice Cubes League. And this is where you're meeting this doctor telling you that, hey, you still have NBA healthcare that you can use. And you're like, yeah, I'm an NBA player. Let me use it. So he's misguiding basically both parties because you didn't have the knowledge on how much you can use or not.
Yeah, and what was the whole process?
Right.
You know, I just knew what I just went through with Terrence and them, that he's not a real doctor. He shouldn't be in this motherfucking thing doing this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I need to go to a real doctor.
Right.
You know, so, because it doesn't make any sense. If I just went over here and did something here, why the fuck would I go over here and do it again?
The same thing. Exactly.
And why the fuck would you go to Terrence Williams, period, and give him the paperwork? That's where you're always going to run into the wall with the judge.
It's stupid. It's stupid. And I know it was 18 other players, but do you feel like, because you're probably the biggest name on this case as far as basketball is concerned.
I am.
Do you feel like they're trying to make an example of you?
No question.
Out of the 18 players, and it's probably more than 18 other players, probably a plethora of players, but do you feel like you're being singled out just because it's you?
Yes. Yeah. You know, you think about that whole process. Like, I went on Vlad TV before my case. They used that as evidence.
Wow. Big baby, you should already know they're always watching Vlad and people self-snitch on themselves. But to add to some more context, let's take a look at how he pretty much laughed at the whole case when Vlad presented him the details. Let's look at his reaction and we could understand why the court actually kind of used it against him.
So when I say all this, what do you say?
Take that shit to motherfucking trial.
Shout out to Young Thug.
Take that shit to motherfucking trial. That's all it. That's all I got to say. Ain't no talking, ain't no cooperating. You know, this situation is the NBA didn't do their due diligence. And now, you know, you're just put in a situation where you're associated. And so now I got to go to trial because they think I did something that I know I didn't do. You know what I mean? That I know that I'm innocent. You know what I mean? The whole situation, I never got any money. That's the thing.
No money. But you're a part of this indictment.
I'm a part of this indictment.
So are you on bail right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get charged. And what's the bail amount?
I don't think it was no bail. I didn't have to pay nothing.
Right. You're not exactly a danger to society or a flight risk or anything else like that.
I didn't have to pay nothing like that. But yeah, it was just now you're in a certain group, you know, and now they want to just tag us all in when it's not that. It's people taking, you know, advantage of the situation. So I'm going to trial because I didn't do anything.
Okay. Are they offering you plea deals?
They haven't talked to me. Well, I'm not talking to them. I'm not doing no.
Right, but you've lawyered up, I'm sure.
I'm lawyered up, and I'm going to trial. I'm fighting.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you have to go through that.
Oh, ain't nothing. I'm gonna get my money. The NBA ain't gonna owe me because it's some bullshit.
Some bullshit.
Some really, really bullshit.
Now, once again, that right there was the exact interview that the courts had end up using against him, and you can hear the arrogance, not only with the NBA, him singing with the feds taking him to trial, that Young Thug track. Yo, Big Baby Davis, man, come on. This whole thing was sloppy. But arrogance is one hell of a thing, especially in a situation like that. Sometimes Davis is a little bit too gun-holed on the fact that he didn't make any money or take any money out of the whole ordeal. The thing is, you submitted the paperwork. That right there is part of the fraud. But again, that internet clout is one hell of a thing. But that was just a quick side note. Let's just hop right back into the interview.
I was just trying to get paid. Like, Vlad had some money for me, and I was just like, okay, let me go viral, and you know, I'm telling my truth, you know, because that was my truth. But they used that like I didn't like the law, or you know, that's the only thing I didn't like. I didn't like that part because you know, with today's new world, a lot of stuff that you see is not what you think. Absolutely. Yeah, it's my personality, but like. It's not what it is to make it a judgment on this case.
Gotcha.
You know, they use that as evidence, and the judge felt some way about it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Not understanding, hey, it's a Gen Z era here. Mm-hmm. You know, you're a baby boomer, whatever that is, or like, it's different. In the context of the internet, especially when you're talking about you know, going viral and clout, like, you gotta understand it. I don't think she understood it.
Right. You could tell right there, Big Baby Davis is not used to going through the system like that. They are not in the business of understanding nuances. All they have is the evidence of you submitting fraudulent paperwork with your name signed off on it to Terrence Williams, and he submitted it to the NBA, probably with your personal insurance information to actually put in that claim. That right there is where they pretty much got him jammed up.
Well, it was something I read, and we could clear this up for the one thing that I did breeze by. They were saying that you sent an invoice for dental work, $27,000 or $20-something thousand dollars, and the dentist was supposed to be here in Beverly Hills in California, but you were in Vegas or going on a flight to Paris, so the dates didn't match up. What do you have to say to that? Is that true? Is that not true? Or did some more bullshit that the guy did? Like,
well, it was bullshit that the guy did.
Right.
But my financial advisor not understanding the difference between this, right?
Right.
I got my teeth done.
Right.
So I know you see that money missing, but like, you know damn well I ain't getting no root canal. So that's another reason why you shouldn't even fucking sign it, because that's not me. You know that I got my teeth done, but you know that's not what I got done. So why would you sign it?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that was
that financial advisor making mistakes at the wrong time.
It sounds like his financial advisor is just a homie. Come on, Cam, let's keep it a buck. You know what it is.
You know what it is, because I was going through a transition as far as, you know, money here, money there, and the money wasn't like it was. So he was trying to leave, but at the same time, kind of like, you know, he was still helping, you know what I mean? So I didn't pay him as much and more, so he didn't feel like he had to work, you know what I mean? Until I got a new check to be able to, you know.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What else do you want people to know about this situation before we move on?
I want people to know that the fact that Glen Davis is a stand-up guy, you know, when you talk about, you know, everything as far as the community and just being charismatic and loving people, and you know what you guys see here is not me. Right. You know, I've come from a long way. You know, I can, you know, make excuses of, you know, mama on drugs, don't know your daddy, you're in the hood. Like, I can make those type of excuses, but I won't. You know I have gaps, you know, but I still work hard to get to where I am today. And I cannot let that go. Like, no matter what they feel or how they paint me, like, I worked hard to be here. Right. And to be able to go to jail for health care when the NBA had negligence, don't sit well with me, you know? And so I'm here to tell my story, you know, because I haven't got a chance to. Right? Everybody's been making their assumptions on every other thing, but they haven't heard from me.
Exactly.
And
now right there, it's hard to tell if he's referring to the negligence with the way the Clippers handled him, or just the NBA actually accepting paperwork from Terrence Williams originally with the other 18 members. Even though his paperwork personally got rejected, but they did accept others' paperwork. So at the end of the day, Davis is gonna have to take some responsibility here.
And I'm the one that gotta live with this. You know, when I go sit down and go to jail, I gotta go look at them walls and deal with this. And it's unfair. You know, I think it's unfair. You know, And then also I want to be a testimony for athletes and mental illness and
Here we go with that bullshit spiel, man. Come on, man. I hate this, and guys hiding behind this bullshit. Listen, how come the issues are never with the mental illness when there's no money involved? Anytime there's money being made, a check to be grabbed, it's like the mental illness trope is being used. But for anything else where there's no monetary benefit, all of a sudden, that's never a fucking excuse. It's amazing. But that's unfortunate right there, because a lot of athletes today, they kind of fall into that form of branding, even though some of them don't even suffer from them type of issues. It's almost as if the times of today are like, okay, I made a dumb mistake. I had mental issues. It's like, come on, brother. That's not what it was. Very unfortunate for those who do have real mental issues.
And bring in a new type of culture. And what I think that should be for us athletes is go to where they are, right? Don't sit and send messages and send brochures through the mail. With us, you have to be hands-on because we don't like to show.
They are hands-on. Yo, Davis, they are hands-on. Every team has a representative. If you did the due diligence and hired a proper agent, they would have told you, hey, you could go through the medical as soon as that Clippers season ended. It wouldn't have taken you 2 months into the offseason to actually go see another doctor. Once again, he was completely unaware of the insurance plan even after he was a free agent with the Clippers, searching for a contract knowing that his foot is bothering him. That's how much his agent was uninformed.
We don't like to reflect and be vulnerable, especially at times right now. But sometimes we need that. And we need people that understand, that's been there, and to be hands-on, to go knock on the door. Because we sit under a rock and we just let things go by. I think the NBA has to do a better job at that, because why are all our NBA players either going broke or, divorced or assault, something? Like, it has to stop.
It has to stop, but a lot of that is self-inflicted, including you. He just admitted earlier in this interview that he took out $1 million cash, went back to the crib, invited 2 girls over, and just jumped around in the money, and then gave the girls a $20K here, $10K here. And then he started gambling $100K at a time until he realized the casinos, when he loses that much, especially if he borrowed the money, he got to pay $200K. So a lot of this is self-inflicted.
It has to stop. You know what I mean? Like, so I want to stand in the gap for those, because this is a situation that, anybody could have went through this. There's so many stories of athletes being mishandled, mistreated, misrepresented, in so many ways that we got to stop this. And I just want people to know, like, who I am and where I'm from and my morals and what I stand on.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So it is what it is, man. Big Baby Davis telling his side of the story. Got to take a bit more accountability for this situation, because the feds, when they come to you, man, that case is more than likely already solved. They got all the evidence they need. And you actually submitting that paperwork to Terrence Williams instead of directly to the NBA is already a question mark. That right there is part of the fraud, not the actual acceptance of the money, which Big Baby Davis keeps alluding to, because in his mind, that right there means he would be guilty because he made the money. But according to the law, it does not work like that, man. Certain personal information that goes into that paperwork that only you would know in order to put in that claim directly to the NBA. So they know that you gave Terrence Williams that information, and that right there is the fraud along with those fake receipts. But it is what it is. Hopefully Tony Allen, Sebastian Telfair, Darius Miles, Shannon Brown, they could just either do their time and just move on from the situation, because it is an embarrassment. And at the same time, they're also robbing their fellow NBA brothers who are really going through a lot of injury issues post-retirement. And that's a really messed up way to honor that sacred fraternity that they're part of, being an NBA player.